What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to Leafs Digest. First things first, I want to wish a happy Thanksgiving out there to all of our Canadian followers, whether you're living in Canada or whether you're celebrating from around the world in other countries. It is Canadian Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there. I myself have been taking part in some Thanksgiving festivities, hence why this video is getting up there late. Didn't get on last night to record the video right after the game, break that one down, so I apologize for that. But hey, this video is out now, better late than never, as they always say. So here it is. But before we get into breaking down this game, Josh and I, obviously we're thankful for many things in our lives. But right now, we are most thankful for all of our subscribers, for all of you guys who watch this video, watch all of our videos in the past. So if you like the content that we've been providing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's the most important thing you can do at this point in time. Josh and I are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, as you can see. Road to 1,000 subscribers. Every single subscriber we get along the way here helps. We could not be more appreciative of you guys for jumping on this bandwagon, following us along, supporting our content. It means the absolute world to us. So thank you guys for doing that. We really appreciate it. But if you are not subscribed, if you are new to this channel, if you're just checking out these videos for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're not someone who wants to do it right now, if you don't have the ability to, if you're on your phone, you can't find the button, you can't find the link, whatever it is, no worries. Wait till the end of the video, and on your way out, as you're doing all that other stuff that you do every time, you like, you comment, you share with your friends, hit the subscribe button, because as you know, as I have said numerous times already, that is the most important thing you can do. Get the boys to 1,000 subscribers. Leafs Digest is absolutely pushing through to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and we are looking forward to having you guys with us along the way here. Enough pumping our own tires, enough trying to get you guys to subscribe. We know you're going to do that, but in order for us to get to 1,000, we got to bring that content, so let's get into it. Leafs beat the Ottawa Senators 4-1 the other night. Goals from Morgan Rielly, Nick Ritchie, Pierre Engvall, and John Tavares. It's nice to finally see this lineup starting to look like what is going to be the everyday lineup essentially for this Leafs team as we go into this season. Obviously, we're still missing Austin Matthews, and it's not completely set as to what the lines are going to be and who's going to be playing with who, but we're getting closer and closer to that point. Obviously, this is our last preseason game. We went 5 of 6. We're gearing up for opening night, but we got a lot closer to see what this team is actually going to be like and their style of play, how the power play is going to look. And before we get into individual performances, I do want to touch on one thing that I've noticed throughout this entire preseason, really. And the first thing is this Leafs team, the pace of play, the intensity, and the aggressiveness, every game, other than really that one that they lost 5-2 to the Canadiens, they've really seemed to be bringing the game to the other team. In years past, especially I think last year, one thing we saw was this team would sit back a little bit and then play give and go with the other team. You know, you're playing a little bit of tennis. It's our turn, it's your turn, it's our turn, it's your turn. That hasn't really been the case with this Leafs team, at least in this preseason. It's always been go, go, go. You've been on the other team since the beginning, out shooting them, out possessing them, out everything on these other teams. We have been taking the pace of the game to the other team. Now, we only played the Ottawa Senators and the Montreal Canadiens, so it's harder to say with a small sample size of the other teams that you've played against, but that has kind of been a consistent narrative of this team thus far, and it's something that I really appreciate seeing from this team, because I think it's been a frustrating thing to watch this team go out on a nightly basis and say, why can't they do more? Why don't they play harder? Why don't they take the place to play to the other team? We seem to often play to the other team's level, and that hasn't really been the case in this preseason. Every line, every player brings the intensity every shift and brings it to the other team. And I know it's a non-important stat, but we've really showed that in the shot column. Whether like the other team's getting goals or not, we seem to be bringing intensity, bringing shots, creating chances throughout the entire game, and it is really a welcoming sight to see. Now, the other thing I want to touch on of the team play before I kind of get into some of the individuals here is the power play looks very interesting. It's very different than what we've seen in last year's team and the teams of the year before that. I think this power play is going to have a lot more options. You think about how lethal they've been to this point in the preseason, and they've had guys like Ilya Mikheyev and Pierre Engvall playing on that left side. Just wait until it's a guy like Austin Matthews who could win the Rocket Richard Trophy as he did last year on any given year. This guy could go out there and put up 40, 50 goals. He's one of, if not the most lethal shooter in the NHL at this current point in time. I personally think he's knocked Ovi off right now. I don't think he's better than Ovi as a goal scorer in his entire career, and I don't think you say, oh, he is a better goal scorer than Ovi, but right now at this current moment in time, I think the crown goes to Austin Matthews of goal scoring. So just think about how much more lethal that power play will be with him over on that side shooting the puck. We see a different option with Mitch Marner playing in the bumper, and I think people were worried that, oh, the bumper guy doesn't get the puck that much. And I think that they're right to an extent, whereas when you watch this Leafs power play and you watch Mitch Marner in that bumper, this Leafs team has found ways to make him a threat. It is one thing for him to be on that wing and kind of quarterbacking the power play from the side and viewing things in, but it took away that threat, and every team knew it because we all knew he wasn't going to shoot. This isn't a guy who's going to be a scoring threat from that wing. He's in a much closer proximity to the net with a lot more bodies in front. Him being in that bumper position, it also gives him opportunities to pass out wide to guys on the side, go back to Morgan Rielly at the point, go down to John Tavares at the side of the net. It gives him opportunities to make the other four guys on the ice much more effective and much more threatening, as well as him in being in the middle because he's at closer proximity. He doesn't need as blistering of a shot from where he is. That upped level of scoring threat is there from him just sitting in the position that he is. So it's nice to see from him there. I just think once Matthews gets back, this puck movement is going to be much more insane than we've seen previously, and they do seem to be willing to take more shots. Now, piggybacking off of this power play theme, let's get right into some of the individual performances from defense and forwards here. One thing I did take away from this power play is the defense seemed to be much more willing to shoot, and we saw that on Tavares and Morgan Rielly's goals. Morgan Rielly, I've harped on him in other videos, but I think this is a guy that we do like to have here. I just think he's not a number one defenseman, a true number one defenseman. But when he can score goals and produce points like we've seen him produce previously to last season and even the season before that, like when we look back at the years he was here prior to putting up higher numbers of points, this is a guy that you love to have out there because his point production essentially mitigates the amount that he creates goals for the other team. And then when you add in a guy like TJ Brodie on his side, that alone decreases the amount of opportunities, chances, goals that you're allowing the other team to have while Morgan Rielly's on the ice. But when he's not producing points-wise, it almost becomes a wash again from the other perspective of, okay, now they're giving up less goals, but now they're producing less. Where is the value going to come here from a guy? Because if he's not great defensively and he's not scoring points, what is he doing? Well, if he's shooting the puck, he's having the confidence to shoot the puck, he's having the confidence to rush, pinch, be part of the offense, and is actually being successful in those contributions, I think this is a guy who could be very effective and have a great season for the Maple Leafs. Maybe he's not a true number one, but maybe he can elevate that first D pair with TJ Brodie to be one of the best D pairings in the NHL this coming season if TJ Brodie continues to be such an incredible shutdown defenseman and Morgan Rielly can continue to produce points. But I think the biggest factor here is going to be shooting the puck, because the other thing we saw is TJ Brodie, a willingness to shoot the puck. John Tavares tips that puck in. These are goals that we didn't really see from the Leafs team last year, because these are dirty, gritty goals that come as a result of guys being willing to shoot the puck on net, and more specifically, our defense being willing to shoot the puck on net. And in years past, and like especially these last couple of years, it's really been driven by our forwards. Even when we're getting rebounds and we're getting tips in, a lot of it is being driven by forwards trying to produce these offensive chances, and our defense have sat back. So if our defense can contribute more, like they did on that Rielly and on that Tavares goal with the shot from Brodie, I think this team is in a much better position to succeed offensively and defensively for this coming season. I want to go to the power play of the day, the Poppy power play of the day right now. This goal, it was the second Leafs goal of the game, the goal to put them up 2-1. It comes from a guy I think a lot of Leafs fans are excited to see this year, Nick Ritchie. This goal was just disgusting, honestly, and it's great to see these two guys getting involved in this play. The play goes from Wayne Simmonds driving through in the middle, getting the zone, crossing the line, dishing it over to Spezza on the right side, finding the through pass on the give and go to Wayne Simmonds driving down towards the net, and then he just makes a beautiful kind of no-look backdoor pass to Nick Ritchie, who is in the right place, right time, and just puts it in a little one-timer shot into the back of the net. It's the perfect thing to see from everybody involved in that goal, because let's start with Jason Spezza. This is a guy who, over the years, as he become an older player, has adapted to his skill set, and especially here in Toronto, we've really seen him excel as not a guy who's insanely fast, but he works really hard. He's very smart. He's incredibly smart on the ice with his hockey IQ, and he's just very offensively gifted, whether it be with his passing abilities or his really nasty shot that he honestly has. He has been able to demonstrate that here in Toronto, and it completely gets rid of the fact that he's not the fastest guy on the ice. So he goes out there and he does all of these things in such a positive way to impact this team. Gets that puck along the boards, has the wherewithal to not rush things, not turn the puck over, make a beautiful pass to Wayne Simmonds. And then from Wayne Simmonds' perspective, like, it's not the biggest thing in the world that he did, but he's driving the net. He's drawing eyes to him. He's bringing a defender with him that allows Nick Ritchie to get open onto the other side. And then you just throw in on top of that, this is a guy who is skilled around the net. He is a skilled hockey player, and he throws a beautiful tape-to-tape pass to Nick Ritchie, who just fires it in one-timer. And then cap it all off, just touching on Nick Ritchie here. As we said in the other games where he scored goals, Nick Ritchie was a guy who was battling net front. He was getting net front positioning. He knew where to be. He knew when to be there, why to be there, and he was able to capitalize off those chances. So for him to do that tonight, just to finish off that beautiful goal, that deserves my power play of the day. So this is a great performance from him, great performance from that group of guys on that one particular goal. I loved what I saw. I was really excited about it. So that is my play of the day. Now, another thing that I kind of want to talk about here is the Mikheyev situation. So, the most recent video that we put out prior to this one, if you haven't watched it yet, you can go and take a look, but I'm kind of giving an update on the situation. Josh and I broke down who we think would be starting on that second line this year. It was up to a point of, is it Mikheyev? Is it Bunting? Who's going to get in there? We kind of both predicted that Mikheyev would get the start to start the season, but Bunting would probably work his way in there. Well, we don't have to wonder anymore who's going to be the guy opening night, because Ilya Mikheyev has suffered a hand injury, and according to the athletic staff, Mikheyev will be out long term. This is an unfortunate injury for Mikheyev to start this season, because a long-term injury before the season even starts, that's really unfortunate. He's not even going to get a chance to get rolling with these guys to start this year. He's going to be out for a little bit. I would assume minimum 4 weeks here, 4 to 6. Like, this is a long injury that he sustained. It's not exactly clear what happened. I saw the video of what it was. I watched the replay a few times. Looks like he kind of just fell awkwardly on his hand and took that injury there. But this is a guy who was going to try and get his opportunity, was going to try to get into this lineup, but we don't have to wonder any longer. I think opening night lineup is going to feature Michael Bunting on that left wing. I don't ever want to see guys get hurt, but I think it does help the Leafs here a little bit, because they don't have that, oh my God, which guy do we put in? And if we put one guy in, are we making a mistake towards the other guy? Like, if you put Bunting, is Mikheyev going to check out? If you put Mikheyev, is Bunting going to struggle on the third line? That question's completely gone. It's answered here. We're probably going to give Bunting that shot on the second line. We see what he can do with Tavares and Nylander, and if it doesn't work out when Mikheyev comes back, maybe you just throw him back in that spot, or prior to then, you circle some other guys through. You give a guy like Andre Kasha or Alex Kerfoot a shot on that wing there and see how they can perform in that situation. So I am sorry for Mikheyev. I hate to see that happen, but I think this almost helps Leafs out in a little bit here. It also gives you an opportunity potentially to put this guy on injured reserve, and maybe you can bring up a guy again like Adam Brooks or someone else along those lines to fill into some lower end spots. See what our depth can do to start this season. See how our chemistry works with some of these guys in this lineup. See if maybe Ilya Mikheyev is a guy that we even need in this lineup. We'll see how it goes as this season starts, but that was the last thing I wanted to touch on. And then before I head out here, I do want to give our grades of the game. So our Mike Babcock old school grades of the game. I'm going to keep this one simple and go with an A-. It was the Ottawa Senators. It was a dull third period. We didn't see much scoring, but we did get to see a good game from Jack Campbell, who has looked pretty good throughout this playoffs. I think that it's a preseason game. We don't see too much. I'm kind of sticking towards the A- because we did see a significant injury to a guy who was supposed to be expected to be at least in the top 6, and if not in the top 6, a prominent penalty killing role, as well as filling into that third line and making them a potential for a more higher danger line with a shutdown, that speed, that intensity there. So it is unfortunate to see him go. I do like what we saw from our defensemen shooting the puck a little bit more and getting involved in some of those goals. Our power play did look pretty good. My biggest negative for this one, and one of the other reasons that I'm leaning towards this A- on this, is it is incredibly imperative that in the final minutes of periods, we are not giving up goals against. I know this team rebounded and played pretty well after the fact, came out in the second period firing. We outshot them early, brought the intensity to them really fast, and then ended up getting up 2-1. But that goal by Formanton with 13 seconds left in the first period throughout the regular season, and most importantly, because this is not about the regular season, this is about trying to win a Stanley Cup. When it comes to playoff time, a goal with 13 seconds left in the period, no matter what the score of the game, that is a killer for momentum. The other team goes into the locker room all fired up, knowing that they've just gotten on the board, knowing that there's more opportunity to score coming out of this period. They have momentum, they have excitement. You are sitting in that locker room wishing that that last goal didn't happen, thinking about how the lead just disappeared a little bit more. No matter what the score is in the game, the team that just got scored on goes into the locker room thinking about that one a little bit more. So we got to eliminate those final minute of the period goals going forward. That's going to lead me to my A- mark here, but Leafs fans, most important thing you can do before the opening game of the season coming this week, and more videos coming breaking down that opening game. What will the official lineups look like? What will we hear tomorrow on Monday, October 11th, determining what is going to be happening in that opening game? Maybe we hear more about Mikheyev's injury, but we will be breaking that all down on our channel. So if you like our content, if you like this video, make sure you like and comment on these videos. And then the most important thing you can do, as I've said numerous times here, subscribe to our channel. We appreciate every single subscriber that comes in here. So thank you guys for doing this. Apologies for the late video, but happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Leafs fans, we'll see you guys soon. Keep believing.